off at the top, and that is the game of the weekend, the rivalry weekend. The game tomorrow happened on Thursday Night Football. It is the Green Bay Packers taking on the Detroit Lions. This game kind of seems to be for all the marbles, right? When you look at the NFC North, I know I'm kind of shooing the Minnesota Vikings out to the side here, but I feel like the winner of this game kind of takes control of the North, kind of takes their own destiny of the North in their own hands, right? So when you look at this game, the Detroit Lions, 11-1 on the season. The Green Bay Packers, 9-3 on the season. Who needs to win this game more? And when we look at this game, like on the surface, we have to look beyond the game, right? We have to look beyond the game because in this game means so much more than just the Green Bay Packers and the Detroit Lions. This game is so much more than just these two teams. Hell, this game is so much more than just the NFC North, right? In this game, if the Detroit Lions lose this game, it opens up the NFC North division. It opens up that number 1 seed to the Minnesota Vikings. It opens up the top seed to the Eagles, right? It also gives the Green Bay Packers a back-end chance to win that division as well. It also gives a chance for the Minnesota Vikings to get that first overall seed. Hell, it gives the Green Bay Packers a chance to get the second overall seed. Hosting a playoff game is huge for anybody in this NFC playoff picture. It is huge. So who needs to win this game more? When we look at the Detroit Lions, their remaining schedule, obviously they play the Green Bay Packers tomorrow night. Then they play the Buffalo Bills. And then they play the Bears, the 49ers, and then the Vikings, right? And then you see the Green Bay Packers. They obviously play the Lions. But then they play the Seahawks, the Saints, the Vikings, and then the Bears to end the season. Very much common denominator teams there, right? The winner of this game, I think, will control the division. The NFC North title is on the line tomorrow. And to win the division and to keep the number 1 seed alive, the Green Bay Packers likely need to win all of their remaining games, including the Week 17 matchup versus the Minnesota Vikings. Everything's pointing that the Green Bay Packers need this game more. And I think they do. I think the Green Bay Packers need this game more. When we look at the tiebreakers, right? The Detroit Lions lead the division in 3-0 divisional record. The Packers are not. The Packers are 1-2. The Packers need the Lions to lose at least 3 of their final 5 games. Probably not going to happen, right? So the path to the NFC North title kind of really lies on this game for the Vikings, right? And the Packers and the Lions. This game means everything. So let's look at the path to the NFC North title. In Week 14, if the Packers beat the Lions, the Vikings beat the Falcons, the Packers are now 10-3, right? They're on their way to the NFC North title. Week 15, the Packers got to beat the Seahawks. The Bills have got to beat the Lions. And then the Vikings got to beat the Bears. At this point, it moves the Packers to 11-3 on the season. Then we look at Week 16. The Packers got to beat the Saints. The Seahawks did in return got to beat the Vikings. Laura, you are a Seahawks fan and a Vikings fan. Who are you going to root for? And then the Lions have got to beat the Bears. Packers now are 12-3 on the season. Week 17, Packers beat the Vikings. The Lions beat the 49ers. The Packers are now 13-3 on the season. And then Week 18, final week of the season, Packers beat the Bears. Vikings beat the Lions. The Packers moved to 14-3 on the season. The number 1 seed is theirs. So if the Packers want to win the division, if the Packers want that number 1 NFC overall pick, a bye, this is a must-win for the Green Bay Packers. This is a game that the Green Bay Packers have to win. The Green Bay Packers have living on high dreams all season long. I thought they were going to be a deep Super Bowl talented team. I thought they were going to be a team that could really do it, right? Really thought they could do it. So for the Packers to claim that number 1 seed, the Packers must pass the Eagles at 10-2. The Eagles' remaining schedule includes several winnable games, so the Packers need the Eagles to lose to the Steelers and the Commanders. Slow it down, says John. Number 2 seed, if the Packers do not secure the number 1 seed, the number 2 seed is still a viable prize, ensuring them a home playoff game and avoiding a wild card matchup versus the division rivals. So if the Packers want to win the division, which they should, They 100% need this game. Now, on the flip side of this, the Detroit Lions kind of need this game too, right? The Detroit Lions kind of need to go out there and make a statement win. Many people are like, yeah, the Lions are winning, but who have they played? Yeah, the Lions are winning and they're blowing out bad teams, but yeah, right. And then the other haters, right, want to say, oh, the injuries are adding up. Oh, we're the injuries, right? At the end of the day, guys, the Lions are 11-1. They have beaten the Rams. They've beaten the Cardinals. They've beaten the Seahawks. They've beaten the Vikings. They've beaten the Green Bay Packers. They've beaten the Houston Texans. They have beaten some good playoff teams. Now, the last 2-3 weeks have kind of been, right? Yes, the 52-6 win over the Jaguars, but I'm talking about the Colts game and then the Bears game. So who needs this game more? And everything points to me that say the Green Bay Packers need this game more. The Green Bay Packers want to win the division. They got to win this game. The Green Bay Packers want a first or second seed in the NFC playoffs. They got to win this game. Everything points to the Green Bay Packers have to win this game. But I'm going to tell you that the Detroit Lions need this game more. I'm going to tell you that the Detroit Lions need this game more. Why do they need this game more? It's because people are starting to put doubt in their head that they're not the real deal. People have doubts in their head that the injuries are adding up and it's going to be too much for them to overcome. People are putting doubt in their head like, oh shit, here come the Buccaneers. Here comes the Eagles. Here comes the Vikings. Here comes the Packers. Maybe the Lions aren't as big as bad as everybody thought they were. What better way to put all those haters, all those naysayers away than on primetime TV, Thursday Night Football? It's not a short work week. They both had a week off. They both had a week to prepare to come out there on primetime TV and whoop that ass. Not just beat them, but whoop that ass. Not by 10, but 20, by 30. Put up a 40 burger on them, right? Put up a 50 burger on them. You've been blowing out all these bad teams. Oh, yeah, you're good, but you've been blowing out bad teams. Blow up a good team. Guys, I think the Detroit Lions need this game more. I think they need this game more for the confidence, for the playoff depth, for them just to really put that swagger back in their step. Because when you look at the Detroit Lions, look at the Chicago Bears, I think they lost a little bit of swagger. When they played the Colts, yes, it was a Colts game. It was dog days. It was just, let's get into Indianapolis and get out as fast as we can. They are like the Kansas City Chiefs, like, man, is it January yet? Let's just get there, right? Let's just get there. I think the Detroit Lions need this game more, guys. So who do you guys think? In the comments below, who do you guys think need this game more? Is it the Green Bay Packers or is it the Detroit Lions? Who needs this game more? My man Judas Howard is in the chat. What's up, Judas? He says, injuries on defense are catching up to the Lions. The Packers win this game 30-24. And honestly, Judas, that would not shock me at all. I think it is either going to be a close. Okay, so this game is it's going to go two ways, right? If it's a close game, the Green Bay Packers will come out on top. A close game is one score or less in my eyes. So 7 points or less, favoritism to the Green Bay Packers. If it's a two-score game, 9 points or more is going to go to the Detroit Lions. John is worried about the Buffalo versus Detroit. Hey, man, let's live in the present. That's week 15. We're talking about week 14 right now. Don't be looking ahead, John. Don't be looking ahead to the Buffalo Bills. Don't be looking ahead to the Super Bowl preview. Don't be looking ahead to all these other games when you got to beat that team in front of you right here, right now. That is why the Las Vegas Raiders will never be good, John, because they're always looking for the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, when do we play the Chiefs? At Arrowhead. That's why the Raiders will never be good. The Detroit Lions need to focus on the Green Bay Packers this week, not worry about the Buffalo Bills. They got 10 days to worry about the Buffalo Bills. Let's worry about the Green Bay, let's worry about the Green Bay Packers right now. Let's worry about that. Casey says, if the Lions play like they did against the Bears, they're going to lose. Unlike the Bears, the Pack know how to use their timeouts. And when I was on that Detroit show yesterday, what was it called? Detroit Lions Grit Show, right? In the pre-show, they were saying, yeah, we are kind of worried about this game, right? We think it is going to be a close game. I think it's going to come down to coaching And they said that Dan Campbell is better than Matt LaFleur on the coaching side of things. And I beg to differ. I beg to differ because I think Matt LaFleur is an excellent coach. Matt LaFleur has been in these close situations, right? When Dan Campbell gets in these close situations, he wants to go for it on 4th and 3 times and miss it. He wants to report 15 guys eligible against the Dallas Cowboys on a 2-point conversion, missing it 3 times and going it for on the fourth time and finally getting denied again. It just, if it comes down to coaching, Casey, I think the Green Bay Packers have a better head coach than the Detroit Lions. Overall staff, give me the Detroit Lions. I like Ben Johnson. I like Aaron Glenn. I like that whole staff that they have on both sides of the ball. But head coaching wise, the final say wise, give me Matt LaFleur. Give me Matt LaFleur. LaFleur. Laura says Packers need to win this game, but go Lions. Laura, why do the Green Bay Packers need to win this game? Is it for their playoff lives? Because I think they're going to make the playoffs either way. Is it for the first seed, second seed, division championship? Let's be honest, guys. Even if the Detroit Lions, if the Green Bay Packers even win this game, it's still a pretty long shot for them to get the division crown, right? Long shot meaning that the Vikings have to lose to the Seahawks. Like a long shot meaning that the Packers have to beat the Bears. A long shot meaning the Vikings have to beat the Lions week 18, right? There's still a lot of variables that happen, but it is. And Mark says, I feel like this is a trap game for Detroit. Mark, it's a rivalry game. It is a rivalry game. If you think a rivalry game is a trap game, this is not a true rivalry. When I was on that Detroit Lions podcast, they had the International Fan of the Year. I forget his name. He was from England. Really nice guy. Really sweet guy. He's been like 33 NFL games. Where does he get that money? But he said, I've been to a Vikings game versus the Lions. I've been to the Bears game. I've been to the Cowboys game. But there's nothing like the Lions versus Packers. Yeah, I dislike the Vikings. Yes, I dislike the Browns, but I hate the Green Bay Packers. And I think that hate from the fan base resonates down into the players, into the coaches, into their soul. This is not a trap game by any stretch of the imagination. The Detroit Lions hate the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers hate the Detroit Lions. They want to beat each other literally black and blue. Let's flash back to the 1990s, early 2000s, black and blue division, right? There's a reason why they call it the black and blue division, because they hate each other that much. This is not a trap game. This is not a trap game at all. John says they're going to drop a 40-piece with the cheese on the pack. It would not shock me. I'm thinking 37 points would be probably about the thing, right? Laura says, same, couldn't agree with the statement more, dropping the 40-piece on the Packers. Damn. John says, no being devil's advocate here. I'm just trying to be real. I'm trying to toe the lines on either way, right? Trying to turn over that new leaf, per se. Josh Olson says the Packers will keep it close because the Lions have several injuries on defense. So, Josh, let me ask this question. Since the Lions have, I believe it's 15 guys on IR on the defensive side of the ball. 15 guys. Miss Davis and a half type of guys on IR. Does this turn into a shootout? Does this turn into a Rams versus Chiefs 2018? Does this turn into a game Monday night? Mark was there. Browns versus Broncos. Does this turn into a back and forth who has the ball last type of score because both of our defenses suck? And if it gets that way, that means the Green Bay Packers have totally shit the bed because the Green Bay Packers have a top 10 defense in the NFL. Let's flash back to week 1 through 6, right? Was it Xavier McKinney had an interception every game? Why the Giants let that man walk? Let's talk about that, right? If it's a shootout, the Packers completely fell off and the Detroit Lions offense is that freaking good. I'm not saying they're bad, but I don't think they're shootout type of good for the Green Bay Packers. I'm just saying. Laura says blow pack blow. Sorry, Packers fans, we love you, but you all blow. Blow, blow, blow. All right, let's see what that people are saying. John says, slow it down, baby. Even with the injuries to the Lions defense, their defense is still shutting down that offense. We will see. The problem with the Green Bay Packers offense right now is the receivers cannot catch the ball. Was it Romeo Doubs? I think it's number 9, right? It's like Doubs running right down middle of the field. The ball hits him in his hands. This hand, this hand. He takes it back to this hand, takes it back to this hand, bounces off his face mask, and he still drops it. The Green Bay Packers receivers can't catch the ball right now. I don't know what it is. Did the case of the drops go from Kansas City up north to Green Bay, Wisconsin? It seems that way. But despite all of those drops, the Packers defense is still pretty good. Our offense is still pretty good. I'm just saying. Ethan Carl's in the chat, number 66. What's up, Ethan? Glad you're joining us today, day man. John said you also thought the Dallas Cowboys were winning that division too. I did. What does that have to do with the NFC North? But hey, do what you got. Ethan Carl says, I am a Packers fan and my friends is a Lions fan. I hope we win. Listen, man, root for your team. Root for your team till your lungs cannot give out anymore. One of the greatest things that I've ever done is start watching football with my brothers, right? My brother-in-laws and his friends, right? Because it is nothing sweeter than going into a Cincinnati Bengals household and wearing the opposite team's jerseys and rooting for them with your friends, family members. It's just, watching football with friends is so much more fun. I just love it. I just love it. And John says, whoa, Buck. Packs are not winning the division. Probably not, but they have a shot. But they got a shot. John says his babbling sounds constipated. So that means I'm not spilling shit out of my mouth. I'm spitting facts out the mouth, right? Because if you're constipated, John, that means stuff is not coming out. Only the important stuff is coming out. I'm glad you're listening. Thank you. Laura says, I think it's going to be a fight back and forth the entire game and going to come down to who has the possession last. I will agree with that. I would love to see that. I don't foresee that happening, but I would love to see that. I would love to see a Thursday night game finally do something, right? Do something. Josh Olson says, home field advantage really doesn't mean anything in the NFL. And that is a false statement, Josh. That is a false statement. When you have a flying offense like the Detroit Lions do, and they rely on warm weather, throwing the ball around, right? And then you go into a snow-filled game like Buffalo, and then all of a sudden, your not-so-strong-armed Jared Goff can't push the ball down the field, and you're a one-dimensional offense. That changes everything. I mean, granted, I don't think anybody in the NFC will have that kind of snow home field advantage like the Buffalo Bills do. But let's say Philly, it could get cold. It could get snowy, right? Other NFC teams that could potentially be up there. The Green Bay Packers. Let's say it's snow. Snow is the equalizer of every great offense. Home field advantage is very, very important. You get to sleep in your own bed. You get to do your normal routines. You get to kiss your kids goodnight. You get to sleep your kids tonight. Your mama gets to cook you some food. Home field advantage is a lot more important than people think. Spam over here on the YouTube says Packers need the game to keep the postseason hopes alive. The Lions need it more for momentum through the postseason. We got 45% of our roster on injury and still looking to blow out a good ball club. The Packers are making the playoffs, Spam. Just if they lose completely out, and if the Falcons or Buccaneers lose like 2 more games, I think they're still in the playoffs. The Packers are pretty much a lock into the playoffs. They had like a 95% chance, a 94% chance to make the playoffs. The Lions, the Vikings, and the Packers are all pretty much locked to make the playoff. But I see your momentum theory. I feel like the Lions still kind of need that momentum like a little bit. But on the flip side, like you said, only 6% of the roster is there, right? From week 1 to week 14, only 6% of the roster is on the roster right now. Rest of them are all hurt. Point of the matter is they just need to get healthy. I think the Lions' biggest motivation for this game is just to come out without putting another guy on like IR. Let's see how Jamal Adams can come in and incorporate here. And let's see how the rest of the team can gel around Jamal Adams. Can he be the leader that we need him to be until Alex comes back, until Malcolm comes back? That's what the big thing is, right? John says they're always going to doubt the Lions because of the past. It's time we are talking about the Lombardi and home field advantage. Not just this year will win their hearts of the haters, and they will all be switching up. Potentially, John. But you have to realize winning makes you hated. You've been the laughable, lovable losers for how long? Since 1957, if I'm not mistaken. Once you start winning, haters are going to start to come, John. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They won a Super Bowl. People are like, oh, yay, good job, guys. But now they're dynasty. Now they're completely winning. Back-to-back Super Bowls. 3 in the last 5 years, right? 3 of the last 4 years. Haters. Everybody hates them. Everybody hates winning. They're like, yeah, you can win, just not too much. Yeah, you can be successful, but it's just not too much. John, be ready for the haters to come out of the woodworks. Be ready for those referees to start to favor the Detroit Lions. Be ready for all those cheating allegations to come to Detroit. Hell, it might even be louder because the Detroit Lions did legit come out of nowhere. Right? They were 0-16 team, and then they were 7-10, and then now all of a sudden they're a winning team and in the Super Bowl. Wait, what? Cheaters! At least the Kansas City Chiefs were still 12-5, 12-4, 13-3. Like they were still good. But be ready for it, John. Spam says we all due respect, and he means we all due respect to the organization, the Motor City. I'm the Motor City through and through. FTP, we got this one. I don't know what FTP means. Like, F the police? Spam says they good, but they not looking like the bowl. We are. Let the injuries be, and we'll find a way to win, because that's what it's like. 24-28 Detroit Lions. Alpha Rob says the Green Bay Packers need to win this game more. Potentially. John says Homer and repeat Super Bowl. What? What? John says, then they look at the refs of the prime example last time they played. I don't know what you're talking about, John. Spam says, we angry about how we performed last week. These games so close together is tough, but we learn from our mistakes. This is a normal week. You played on Thursday. You get a week off. You play on Thursday again. What do you mean close games? Spam also says, we really thought you were about to gas up Everflus for a second. And he's Taliban Matt LaFleur out coaching Dan Campbell. Get me out of here. This guy don't know his shit from his a-hole in the ground. Maybe. John says, get out of here with our report. 15 guys. Everybody knows it was messed up by the refs. Sheesh. Starting to look like you having opinions that aren't honk donkey is a long shot. I don't know what you're talking about. And then, man, Spam is spamming the chat. He says, I love how people still finding ways to talk down on this organization that come up from nothing in the last few years into generalizing the best team in our league. This was that 45% of our starters. I'm not trying to talk down on your organization. I'm just saying the haters are coming. Casey says, the only game I can say is a trap game for the Lions will be December 30th against the 49ers. Exactly. That game, and then the Week 18 when they play with the Minnesota Vikings last week of the season. Everything would probably be locked up at that particular point. That could be considered a trap game, meaning they're not playing for a whole lot, right? John says, Lions stopped Josh Jacobs. Packers only scores 17 points. I agree. 10-17 is probably right where they're at. Keith Burners in the chat says Detroit's on a 10-game winning streak, but the Green Bay Packers had the momentum after a solid win over Miami. If Jordan Love can avoid turnovers and the defense steps up, do you think the Green Bay Packers can end Detroit's streak and make a playoff push? Hashtag Packers, hashtag Lions, hashtag NFL, Jordan Love, all the good stuff. I think the Green Bay Packers have momentum one way or the other, right? They have won 7 of their last 8. Their only loss came back in, week 9, I think it was, to the Detroit Lions. 10-point loss to the Lions with a hobbled Jordan Love. Let's just be honest. He should not have been playing that game at all. Did that affect the outcome? I don't know. But Jordan Love did throw a pick 6, which he normally would have probably threw the ball away or just took the sack, but he was definitely hurt. But regardless, I do not think the Green Bay Packers stopped the Detroit Lions 10-game winning streak. I think after Thursday, the Detroit Lions will indeed be 12-1. They will indeed be on a 12 or on a 11-game winning streak. They will indeed lock up a playoff berth. They will indeed lock up the NFC North. I think the Lions have everything to like play for in this particular game. Spam says, it's going to be a good one, but I had to write all this on the toilet because we about to... Jesus. Listen, the best place to watch the man hour, guys, is at work while taking a poop. I'm just saying. John says, Minnesota is the wild card. Pack doesn't make the cut. The Packers do make the cut, John. Who is going to knock them out? Is it the Buccaneers? Or actually, it would probably be the Falcons. The Falcons don't knock them out. Do the Dallas Cowboys knock them out? Do the what other team has the potential to make the playoffs? Is it the 49ers, the Cardinals, the Seahawks? I don't see anybody that is out of the wild card range jumping up into the wild card range because the wild card, there's so much separation between the NFC North and the rest of them, right? The Packers have 9 wins. The Vikings have 10. The next wild card place, a team that isn't in there, is 5-7. Like I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Nacho Gomez says the Lions can't keep losing players on defense and continue to win. The Packers will win by 10 tomorrow. Ooh, slow it down, baby. Slow it down. John says they acquired 2 by the time Super Bowl comes around and we get Hutch back. So just because Hutch can play when it comes Super Bowl time, I've said this time and time again, I'm going to stick to it again. Hutchinson will not make an impact in the Super Bowl. He will not be game shape ready. The team would have already kind of gelled and made this other realm the other way, and Hutch will be the outsider looking in. I don't foresee Hutch making a big impact in the Super Bowl, even if he's cleared to play. I just don't see it. John says the Lions are going to start winning Super Bowls. You're going to switch up jerseys and teams. LMAO. I do root for other teams. The Kansas City Chiefs are my team. But if I like an iPhone and then all of a sudden Android 24 comes out and I like that camera, I might switch over to a Android. Just because you're loyal to a team, just because you pick a team when you're 8 or 9 years old doesn't mean you have to stick with that team for misery, right? Just like I like LeBron James. Am I a NBA fan? Not really. Do I have loyalty to any team? Not really. I'm a LeBron James fan, right? So I went from Cavaliers to the Heat to the Cavaliers to the Lakers. Right? I'm a LeBron James fan. Also a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander fan. So therefore, I like a little bit Oklahoma City. You can root for other teams, right? You are not blood brothers to this team. This team could care less if you're a freaking fan of them or not. If you don't like the product they're putting out, don't struggle through it. Go find another team. Be like Coffee, right? Be like Coffee. John says the Lions are going to win 13-31. I like that score. I like that score. And John says the Commanders will knock the Packers out. The Commanders are already in the playoffs. The wild card of the Vikings, Packers, and Commanders. Come on, man. Act like you've been listening to Man Hour for a little while. We know this, baby. We know this. Casey says, I personally think the game will just be decided by 3 points. That's what the guys on the Detroit Lions show were saying as well. They think 3 points is a good little mix-up, right? Curtis Hughes, new name here. What's up, Curtis? He says, next week, the Detroit versus Buffalo, it'll be the Super Bowl preview. And I said, slow it down, baby. Buffalo Bills will not make it. Sorry, Alpha Rob. Buck has a Lions jersey. Tell him how when they beat the Chiefs. Yeah, we had a jersey bet, and I bought an Adrian Hutchinson jersey. I wear it every now and then. I don't hate the Lions. Just Chiefs are my team right now. Laura says, I'm going to Oklahoma City game on Tuesday. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. John said, you definitely sit with the loyal to your one team. No switching up. That example with phones was brutal. Don't get me wrong. I cheer for others due to certain players, but still loyal to one team, bro. Listen, I am team iPhone, right? Everybody at work is team Android. They love their Androids. I'm team iPhone. But I see what Android is doing over there. I like those features that Android has. And I might be cheating on iPhone here come January when I get a new phone here. Randy Sears says Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills will be the AFC Championship game this season. Who is going to beat Buffalo in the AFC? Says John.